What did you notice from Boyd's struggles early on?
I took the mound, I think a little tentative, just, for starters, but then I think, even when he settled in and got ahead, just the inability to put guys away, so, that, I think early on, he was pitching behind, and you pitch behind against a good hitting team, or good, hitters at this level, there's a good chance that they're gonna move the baseball with some authority, and that happened, but, even in the midst of that, I think it was just not making that quality put-away pitch when he needed to, as even witnessed by the 4-run fourth inning. I think all that started with 2 outs. Had multiple guys with 2 strikes and still just never put them away.
Do you look at the opportunities in the first and second when you get guys on second with no outs and unable to score them as like key when you could have got back in the game early?
Well, yeah, situationally, we did not do a good job. I would say, that guy had a lot to do with it. I was a little shocked at, a little surprised at some of the pitches that we were offering at, but, so that could be a combination of, either we weren't dialed in or his stuff's pretty good, but that kid's good. But yeah, like 2 innings in a row, we had a runner at second base and never advanced him. And when you do that, it can be a little deflating, but I still thought, we're still hanging in there and still felt confident with our group, even in the midst of not getting those guys in. It was, I think, more the 4-run one was a little bit, at that point, it was going to be a little tough to overcome how that guy was throwing the baseball.
When you went out to talk to Boyd in the first inning, were you talking about him turning back, trying to use his off-speed stuff a little bit more? What was kind of the message you were getting?
About competing. Honestly, it was a simple word, just competing, because at that point it just it's early in the game. They had already pushed the run across, but so what? We got a lot of game. We needed him. We needed him to go deep. So it was more just talking about competitiveness and not wasting opportunities to compete.
You talked earlier the week about some of the tough losses that you guys have had this year. How does something like this kind of impact the team where it's...
it's one of those things where maybe people who don't understand baseball will be, 18, but kind of after the 6th inning when it's 9-0, it kind of changes your decision making on what you're going to do. But you make decisions based on the flow of the game. We were struggling offensively. We're chasing, I think at that time, 9 runs with 9 outs to go, based on the way that was going, based on what they're in their pin. So now, you're going to make decisions on saving your bullpen for tomorrow. If you climb back in it, you certainly make some other decisions. But, I don't know that I'd go home tonight feel any worse or any better losing 9-0 or 18-3 and still lose. So the one thing I do know is we were at least able to hang on to and have a fresh group tomorrow, because to me, the way the flow of that was going, we were going to struggle scoring. I don't know that, that we were going to score 10 runs with 9 outs to go based on what we've done up to this weekend. So at that point, you're just trying to, hang on to your arms and know that you're going to be in another battle tomorrow and make sure you're as fresh as you can be, and then trust in your guys that they're mature enough to kind of see what happened there at the end. And, we're throwing guys that don't throw a lot, and position players and whatever. So one of those things.
But the guys you did pitch, how do you evaluate what you saw from them, or do you even try to do that much in a game like this?
Well, no, anytime. I don't think, it's kind of the message of the team, you don't let that game's not going to define who we are, certainly. But I think you can go a long way to define who you are as a competitor in games like that, because the outcome clearly, it's particularly late, is decided, I would say, unless something really, really astronomically improbable happens, but it still should not affect how you compete. So what we're evaluating is a guy out there just going through the motions, or is he still trying to compete, because there are still important innings to be had the rest of the way. So you want to give some young guys a chance to get out there, but I was a little disappointed, not just on the pitching side. I was disappointed too once the game got tilted in their advantage, how many at-bats we gave away. And, you know, a positive piece of it, I mean, I think that, to me, illustrates why Alika Williams is Alika Williams, because it didn't matter what the score was, that kid was still going to give you a quality at-bat. And, you know, for what it's worth, you know, sticks in the head so we don't get shut out, so he's a competitor.
What makes Ralston hard to hit?
What's that?
What makes Ralston hard to hit?
You know, our guys are having a real tough time seeing his changeup, you know, and off that, you know, it's an unorthodox arm action, and, you know, he'll throw off that same arm action, but, you know, Trevor Hopper's a really good hitter, and I think we saw Trevor, you know, that's probably as poor as I've seen him at the plate the entire year, and it's just, and he wasn't seeing it, and it just happens sometimes. So I go back to, you know, a loss is a loss. You know, we can sit here and debate the 18 to, you know, whatever, but, you know, the way that was going, that kid was on, he clearly was on, and you know, we'll take the loss and regroup and come out here and get after it tomorrow.
With the strikeout numbers being up this weekend, are you guys maybe swinging at stuff you maybe wouldn't, just facing these kind of level of pitchers?
Well, I mean, they're not number one in the ERA in the country
Yeah.
for nothing. I mean, I think we're seeing why. These guys they're good. We know we're going to get limited opportunities. You know, and that's why we got to take care of our business. Just like last night. I mean, that kid's probably one of the better pitchers in the country. And if we're going to figure out a way to win, we got to keep it close and just continue to have faith in our offense that we're going to grind it out. Probably the same formula for today. Unfortunately, we just made some mistakes in the fourth inning that kind of stretched it out. And, you know, pitching with a 3-run lead is different than pitching with a 7-run lead. And then once he really settled in, you know, we're still dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that you're trying to motivate every time. And I thought some of our guys, quite frankly, rolled over today offensively. And we were never able to even, at that point, if you throw up 2 or 3 by the 6th, you're still in it. But these guys are good pitchers. And, you know, I mean, we knew it was going to be a challenge coming in, and it certainly is. But that's not saying they're not indestructible. I mean, we can get these guys. So they've got 2 quality starts from their guys, and we're going to regroup and take, you know, 2 losses that we've had. They've beaten us. Last night I said the same thing. I was like, you know what, we didn't do anything poorly, and whatever. They just did a little bit better, and they beat us. We regrouped today. They did everything better today. But that cannot and will not affect how we go out tomorrow. It won't. It can't.
You mentioned that about the Washington Series 2 last week, that, you know, you were happy about how they got past the Saturday thing and came back on Sunday. So I guess they've shown, and this is really the only game you've had all year of this lopsided. So
Yeah, and you know, I'll say it again. I mean, we were, you know, you're in a normal setting, you're not letting somebody die out there in the mound, but I think strategically we're trying to hang on to the arms. I think what people have to take away is I say it all the time, sometimes it's not what you're not doing, it's just somebody's doing it a little bit better. They're pitching it a little bit better right now, which they pitched. I would say the Sun Devils aren't the only ones that are struggling with them, so obviously it's real. They're good, and you just have to make sure that you're close enough and stay within striking distance. And we think with our offense that we can do that. We made a couple mistakes there in the fourth inning, which stretched that thing out. Our guys are confident. They're not gonna quit. I think we can put this one. It's a loss. Like I said, I don't care if it's 3-2 or 18-3. We lost. So, so how do we respond? I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
You mentioned kind of the regroup that happened last Sunday. When you talk to them about how the regroup, do you ever bring up the fact that you guys are still competing for a chance to host a regional?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. I mean, any assumptions made that anything's taken for granted at this point would be a mistake. Nothing's taken for granted. I mean, I don't think our guys, and this is sometimes hard for, how do I say this, for people, I'll just leave it general, people to understand. That's a good baseball team. There's a position that, and I say this even with our guys, there's a position that can control the whole mood of a 50,000 seat major league stadium, and a guy can stand out in the middle of that and dictate how it makes you feel. When those guys are on, I can tell you it's frustrating, seeing our guys waving balls in the dirt or whatever, but I can assure you it's not for a lack of trying. And it's not for a lack of that our guys aren't good hitters. It's their guys have pretty good stuff. And they're not 37-7 by accident. So you know you're gonna get limited. You know, if you wanna really break it, that's kind of why last night, yeah, you're probably a little bit more frustrated with that loss, because you're like, you know, you had some chances, you're swinging the bat away. Unfortunately, today it didn't happen, but you cannot let that impact your mindset moving forward. That game is over. Even if we had won 18-3, I promise you, I'm still telling the sick team the same thing. You gotta clear your heads and go compete tomorrow. Period. That's all you can do. And they know that. They know. We feel like garbage right now, but we're still 20 games above 500. Not bad. I mean, it's not where we want to be, but it's not horrible either. So we're still in a position to, you know, handle things, you know, via what we do, not relying on somebody else.
You mentioned a couple of days ago that if Davovich didn't pitch early, that he still might be a candidate to start. Is it too soon to even consider that?
Well, I
Or
mean,
is
the
that
way this thing
something-
is shaped, yeah, I mean, we haven't used Brazil. You know, Tolman threw to one hitter yesterday. Sam has not pitched at all, so we're gonna go back and look at it, look at the matchup stuff, but we feel, you know, we're in pretty good shape for tomorrow to even use the formula that, you know, that we planned on. So we'll look at it and, look at what gives us the best, but we're gonna, you know, we'll decide that a little bit later. You guys will be maybe not the first to know, but, you'll know.
Is Davovich, is he to the point where he could give you several innings if you needed it?
No, I mean, we're still gonna limit him coming back. I mean, depends on his, you know, what Hendricks threw 9 innings, 81 pitches the other day, so it depends on if he's in strike zone. But we would probably have him on a pitch count anyway.